Good Wednesday evening to you, everyone. How are you? It is good to see you. It is good to be seen by you. Welcome to the show. I, of course, am the Dungeon Delver coming to you live, loud and clear on a Wednesday. And I hope you guys are having an absolutely wonderful time. Daniel Rowan, Wheeling Dragon, Ultra American TTRPGer. Hello, hello, hello. Damien247, Jack Neller. Jack, I am providing the con with some door prizes. Keller, Robert Phillips, hello. And welcome once again, everybody, to the live stream. We have a lot to get into tonight. But I want to ask you a favor. If you're just stopping by for the first time, if you are just hanging out, maybe you picked up on this on YouTube, maybe somebody suggested you watch it. If you haven't done it already, would you do me a favor? Would you click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications? I would just super appreciate that, guys. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm going to be blatant about it, as blatant as can be. We're at 7,114 subscribers. When we hit 10K, it's not just an in-person convention I'm going to try. That pushes us over a threshold at YouTube, and the channel will start to snowball at that point, a little more than it already is. So I'm excited about how close we've gotten, especially when you consider that in early January of 2023, we were just over 1,500. In 2 years, this channel has blown up by almost 6,000 subscribers. We have gotten, and I think I can say this, thousands and thousands of subscribers since that. So I'm excited about it, and I just want to see it keep going. And I figure the only thing that could kick it in the head and make it reverse is, if I drop dead, if I come out with some horrible skeleton in my closet. Not that there's one in there, but you guys feel what I'm saying. Hager the Horrible, good to see you. Bob Jester, the Ultra American TTRPGer. Tracy Thompson, good to see you too. So anyway, if you could do that, and you can like the video too, that does help. A liked video gathers some views. I think it was Benjamin Franklin who said that, actually. A liked YouTube video gathers views. So throw a like on it if you like it. But Bob, I wouldn't know. So anyway, let's, we're just gonna jump straight into it. I can tell you guys about software development, and we can do AD&D questions later. Let's get straight into the top of the subject. Is what's on the thumbnail. The GUOGC, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention. We are 1 week out. I mean, if you want to go by hours, not by days, we're less than a week out. Because remember, we're starting like midday Wednesday. We're starting at 12 Eastern on Wednesday. So anyway, Taryn Core Stories, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by and checking in from over on the Big X. I do appreciate that, putting that up there, because I do love hearing from our friends over at X. So let me tell you a little bit about what the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention is. If you don't know, that is like blazing hot. Let me, that's as dim as I can make it. All right. The Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, the GUOGC, as we call it. The GUOGC is a con that we have every spring, right at the doorway to summer. And hey, Cuthbert, good to see you. And this year, it is 5 days long. The convention is 5 days long. But don't let that worry you. Don't let that throw you. Don't sit back and think, I don't have the kind of dollars to spend on a 5-day convention. That's the beautiful part, guys. It's free. It is 100% free. There's no badge fees. You don't have to pay for a hotel room. You don't have to fly, bus, or train, or spend gas to get here. There's no at-table fees. The only thing you have to buy, and it is entirely up to you if you want to do it, the only thing that you'll have to spend money on is merch. And guess what? We have got merch, and the merch store is live. I'm going to put that link right up on the screen. But there you go. That particular one is for Going Viral, the art piece that the Dungeon Minister created on a coffee mug. I quite like it. It is horrifying. We have some other designs that were done by Sky Hernstrom. The 2 images you see in the thumbnail for the video, he did those. You can get those on t-shirts. You can get them on dice bags. You can get them on any of these images. Okay. We have the Haunted Guac Bowl. We have all kinds of merch, and it is live now. So if you want merch, you got to spend some cash on it. But it's worth it. And let me tell you what, Dungeon Minister, who he has created so much cool merch for the con. Dungeon Minister and I split those profits. So you're not just helping me out, you're helping out the Padre. One of my things that I insist on is, if you're going to follow me, you got to follow all the small creators that I say are awesome here on the tube. That's Dungeon Minister, Paint Minis Live, Doom Swords, D and Disability. That's just to name a few, guys, just to name a few. So I really appreciate it. If you would pick up some merch, it helps us. Tim, yeah, thank you. Tracy, yeah, Tim Imholt. It is just so helpful. Now, Cuthbert, you mentioned my merch link. I have actually got a merch link in the description for Delver's Dungeon merch. So if you just want to get an excellent piece by Tracy Lash, who I should point out, by the way, is our Artist Alley panelist on Friday. I'm very excited about that. If you want to get some merch for the show, you can go to My Spring Store. The Guac and My Spring Store are separate. Dungeon Minister does his, and he keeps he is in charge of convention merch. And mine for the show is just down below. So if you're feeling merchy, if you're like, I want a couple of things, get a Tracy Lesh designed t-shirt and get a Sky Hernstrom or Dungeon Minister design t-shirt. So I'm excited about that. AD&D 2E, Pathfinder 2E, running a play-by-post for 2. Okay. All right. Well, we're talking about the con, but thank you very much. AD&D 2E and Pathfinder 2E. Trying to find the like button for the video on PC. If you're watching over on X, you've actually got to like go out, go to my feed, find it, and put a heart on it there. Like if you're watching it live and participating in the chat, you can't, and they don't cross-pollinate. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, so I want to talk to you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that, AD&D. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit then about the guac. If you're not familiar with it, if you're a little unfamiliar with it, we're gonna talk about that. I've told you what it is. I've told you what it does. How does it do? Now, in the past, we have used Warhorn. We used like this funky sign up thing. I don't mean funky as in bad, but it was almost like a lightweight Facebook kind of thing. And we used that the first year, and Warhorn for 2 years. Last year when I was using Warhorn, I became dissatisfied. Hello, Ardu, good to see you. I became dissatisfied with what I think of as Warhorn's kind of cavalier attitude towards the data security for my convention. Other people are doing great with Warhorn, and I wish them all the luck in the world and all the best wishes. But to my taste, to my pedestrian taste, I didn't like it. So I started looking around for alternatives. And I really kind of wanted to do tabletop.events because it's actually got a pretty good system too. But the problem is that they don't have like a free tier over there. And I'm not cheap, guys. I'm broke. So the fix to paying for whatever level of service that I would have to get would be to, hey, there's the guy, there's Father Aaron, would be to come in and charge you guys to go to the con. And the GUOGC as it exists, the great underground online gaming convention, is free, and barring some calamity will remain free forevermore. I didn't want to start doing this and then pull a bait and switch on you guys and say, it's now $12 a person. You guys super chat, you subscribe to the show, a bunch of you are patrons, a bunch of you are YouTube members. You spread the good word, you give me thumbs up. I get great feedback from you. So I can't, for something that basically is you sitting down at your computer and doing what you might already do, which is playing TTRPGs on Discord, I didn't really feel like, I could say, now give me money. It's not, Thomas. It's not. So if if I do a live one, guys, it's just got to be paid. If I do an in real life con, I will charge for it. But for right now, it's not. So, I said, what can I do? And the most excellent Doomsword Deathmaster, he stepped up and he created a fantastic and incredibly easy way to both register for the con and register to run events. And let me show. Hey, Gonzalo, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So, it's a good body count there. Wonderful Wizard Games in the best way. So, let's get into it. Gonzalo, I love you to pieces. I do, and I'm not dissing you. I like to leave these up until YouTube expires them. But I got to move this because I'm going to share with you guys, first of all, where to go to the con. I keep saying it's on Discord. It's on Discord. If you don't know, Discord is an online live discussion via text, voice, video, sort of collaborative meeting space. Now, I know a lot of people have had problems with like the culture of Discord and everything. That doesn't generally seep into our corner. And more to the point, it won't. But Discord's voice and video are excellent tools. They are amazing tools. And it's infinitely mutable. You can make plugins and everything you want for Discord, because deep down inside its guts, it's actually built on the Chromium web browser. I'm not kidding that. I'm not kidding with that. So, we do it on Discord. Getting to Discord is super duper easy. I'm going to put the link up right here. Thomas Smith, my email address is going across the bottom of the screen. bsylvia@gmail.com. So I'm going to put this up there real quick so you guys can see that. BGD, Puget Sound, all the way out there. Pew! Good to see you. They were a time of their, I liked message boards, but I missed Usenet. I loved Usenet. The West or BGD is about as far from me as you can be and still be in the CONUS. So we have a fairly strong contingent of Pacific Northwest viewers. I like it. So go to this Discord channel. Your official landing page should be the welcome room, unless I haven't said it. I'm going to put some cool stuff in there. You can't do anything in the welcome room. It just welcomes you to it. It's not. Discord is not. Fortunately for a convention, that works. As it's like a convention hall is a lousy home to grow up in and make memories. Same thing, but it is fantastic for conventions. All right, so let's get into it. Let me show you guys this. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna share a screen. We're gonna share a screen, window, share. Okay, so here we are. This is the server. Look over here. Events, members, general, convention announcements, convention events, which actually duplicates the calendar up there. But we'll get to that in a minute. Polls, if anyone has created a poll, they go there. Live demo is just something that we had set up, Doomsword and I. And the welcome page. You guys can't see a members channel? That may only I may have to set that, but it depends on what you mean. It depends on what you mean by wargaming. Thomas brings up an interesting question, which I'm actually going to pin this and come back to it. Whoop, not that one. Orbital air. All right, so here you are. So what you want to do after you land is come into general. Now, if you want to see what games are being played, you can click convention events, or you can click up here, the calendar. Really doesn't matter. Whichever one you click, when you click there, it produces a list. Down the list are the games. If you want to play in a game, click the green checkbox. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. Hey, thank you, Ultra America. That's literally all you have to do to sign up for a game. Join the server, click a button. Easy peasy. And that counts for panels also. Now, you might ask me, what if I want to run a game, Bill? First of all, let me know. Can you guys see the activity bar over here? Like, you see me there? You guys let me know if you can see this over here on the right. All right. So if Vinny can see it, you can all see it. All right. Ask me to be a game master, or ask Doomsword to be a game master. I will right click on your profile. I will tick a checkbox that makes you a game master. And that's it. That's literally, congratulations, you have game master abilities. Over here, I have voice channels. At the time that your game is scheduled to go, I will change it. We're going to do this. You guys can't do this. I can. And I come down here and I click Save Changes. And we escape. And now look over there. Dungeon, the board game. And you will click on that room. Now, I'm not sure how good these icons show up, but if you note, if you need text chat in your game, each individual room has text chat. Don't do it in general. You'll just confuse people, and people will get confused by you. Or whatever. And that's literally it. You click on the room to join it. As you guys just saw, Bob Jester jump in the room. No, that's fine. That was actually good. But yeah, I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to edit this back to event room 1. Now, this has never happened, and I don't think it will happen. But if for whatever reason on a given day, like I've got 9 event rooms here, if for whatever reason on a given day, all 9 of those rooms are full, you're not. Hey, Dungeon Minister, have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping by. You are not out of luck. It's not like, well, I have 9 event rooms. I can add as many voice channel rooms as I want. It's like 2 or 3 clicks for me to do that. So if you ever look over here in a Tomb of Horrors, dungeon board game, artist panel, Labyrinth, basic D&D, Tales of the Undying Sun, just all the way down. All you have to do is say, hey, I need a room. And I can come over here and I can add a room. and the titles of the room will change. It doesn't, do not be confronted by, well, there's no room. Thank you, Vinny. That's awesome. So that's it, guys. Signing up is super duper easy to do. And I don't think we need the link to the Discord in the Discord. But signing up is super duper easy to do. Getting approved as a GM is almost as easy. And finding your room at the day your game's going to go is, you'll see it in the list of voice channels. Now, I want to address a couple of things that have to do with con etiquette. No, nobody's been bad. I have had some requests. I have had a few requests from people who are like, hey, I've never done this before. Is it possible for me to just watch a game? Can I just hang out and watch or listen to a game? Hey, Rob Turner, thank you very much. Thank you for the super, brother. I appreciate it. And the answer is yes, you can. Absolutely. You can 100% listen in on a game if the individual game master is cool with it. Gonzalo Lira's bar tab might be. Vinny might not be. Dungeon Minister might be. Labyrinth, the Labyrinth lady herself, Wheeling Dragon, might not be. Just ask them. Send them a PM or at them in the general chat. I'm not going to dictate who can and can't do what at a table. Yang Yan Zhao, good to see you. Speaking of game masters, there's one right there. So it is up to you guys as individual game masters whether you want people listening in and not participating. With that said, guys, if you're doing that and you're not playing, odds are the game master kind of doesn't need any passenger seat DMing. I mean, sure, have fun, but just be respectful of the game. Is like, I'm not in here because there's other people, they, for lack of a better term, paid to be there. They signed up for that game and that's what they're doing. And just be cool about that. Just be cool. Yeah, and I'm not putting you on the spot saying you have to do it or don't do it, Gonzalo Lear. I was just grabbing names out of a hat. And the other thing is, etiquette-wise, if you're participating in someone's game, and I cannot emphasize this strongly enough, the game master has gone through the effort of setting that game up. The other players have taken time out of their day or night or morning or evening or whatever to be at that game. I will very much appreciate it if you will be respectful of that. Again, this is not a, well, we had an incident, guys. I just want to put that out there. Please be respectful of the game master. Look, if the game is 4 hours long and you're fading, just say, hey, look, I can't, it's not you, it's me. My blood sugar's out of whack. I pulled a double just to get today off to do this. And now, like, I'm about to go nose down in the keyboard. I got to catch a cat nap, or, oh my gosh, something's come. Don't just like drop off. Now, technical issues are technical issues. Sometimes, like, I've seen this happen before. Like, I've been having a conversation with someone on Discord on their end or their ISP just completely poops the bed. And when that happens, sometimes it'll just leave them connected. And I'm like, hello? But if you're gonna bribes are accepted PayPal only. Sorry, immediate deposit. I'm broke, Thomas. For GMs in general, you'll have to arrange that with your individual table game master. But just remember that the other players in the game master are there, and like if you just dip for an hour in the middle of the game and you come back, don't be shocked if things have moved on past your character, that they didn't sit and wait for you to come back. Whether you just were like, yeah, I'm going to go do something. It's moving slow enough. Get back to me when there's combat. That's super rude. Don't ever do that. In-person con, online con, store event. That's just kind of lousy behavior. And again, nobody like this is not we had an incident, I have to address it. Just a friendly reminder. As far as any technical issues, I can't support you. I can support you as far as Discord goes, but if I'm in the middle of a game, I'm in the middle of moderating a panel, or I'm just literally running around making sure everything's all connected. If it's not Discord, that is where my technical acumen stops. Turn it off and turn it back on again. That is literally the best I can hold your phone up so you get a better signal. Yang Yan Zhao says he accepts all legal tender for bribes. Well, I definitely think some piasters from Thailand are in order. I can have those DHL'd to you on a pallet, Yang. Yes, Gonzalo, Doomsword is the only official admin besides me. We were going to have 3, but one, and this was months ago. This is not like a last minute thing. Like I just found this out this afternoon. He was like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, cool. All right. And, we talked about what our rules would be. And I said, this is the time I'm going to do it. And then they said, I can't do it then. So, but I think we're small enough of a con that it's going to be fine. We are open 24 hours. If you are in the UK, the Pacific Rim, Oceania, wherever you are, we've had people call in from South Africa on the show before, over there in the chat. If you want a room, like if your game is wait, it's GMT +8. Holy Hannah, you're in Poland. That's fine. This is not a convention hall that I have to worry about locking up. So it's really that simple. BGD. Now I know Jim Ward, the late Jim Ward, and I talked about that. Gamma World was created to be compatible with AD&D, but it is very unlike it. Absolutely. I mean, just a stock and trade Gamma World character will be rocking 50 or 60 hit points, potentially psionic powers, definitely weapons that can delete on an AD&D character. Like, give me a high-level AD&D fighter wearing magical plate. Now I got just some scrub from Gamma World who has a black ray gun. Zot. What was he yelling about, waving that sword around? I don't know. See if it's Duralloy. Let's move on. But anyhow, that is the convention, guys. Events wise, we have lined up. We have Tracy Lesh, we have Alyssa Hazel, we have Sky Hernstrom. I can do this off the top of my head. I can swear. I swear. Richard Witters, Matt Finch, and Eric Garland and Heidi Gygax Garland. Not all in the same panel, mind you. But we have all of those people at various points in the convention at panels. And after the convention, Sunday night, I will be doing a post-convention wrap-up where we are going to select some con goers to win painted 3D printed miniatures that Jack Neller is working on. And I am excited about that. I am really excited about that. So I hope you guys will all come to the convention. I really, really do. Like I said, cost you nothing. Hanging out can get you everything within reason. Now someone had mentioned something. What was it? Oh, that was Thomas's question. So if you guys have any questions, I am going to beat this drum all the way into next Tuesday. Tuesday next is the last regular live stream for a while. Because then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I am taking the week after the convention off. I will not be streaming. I will not be putting up videos unless there is some breaking news that comes down. So I'm risking my YouTube neck not doing anything for a week. Well, really 9 days on YouTube. Well, no, more than that. Yeah. So like almost 2 weeks. 12 days. I won't be putting up any YouTube content. So it's it's kind of risky for me. My subs will definitely flatline. That's right, Daniel Rowe. When news breaks, I fix it. The Delver's Dungeon with more news and less Nessman. I was wearing my Led Zeppelin shirt today at the dentist. I took my daughter, total fiasco. She's fine. Nothing bad happened to her at all. We found out when we got to the dentist, we had scheduled months ago at the dentist to be there at a certain time. When we got there at that time, they were closed. It turns out they had called me a couple of times and I had seen a number on my phone. And I'm like, I think that's a dentist. But I also got texts from them confirming that our appointment was at Cool. It turns out they had called me to say, one, that the previous DDS had sold, and two, they had moved, that they had decided that Wednesdays they weren't opening until a later time. So we were there 2 hours in advance of it, just far enough away from home. The turning around and going home was a non-starter. Anyway, there was a fellow there ahead of us who had on a WKRP t-shirt. WKRP in Cincinnati, 1978 turkey drop. And he's like, nice shirt. I was going to wear my Led Zeppelin shirt today, but I wore this one instead. And I said, that is an awesome shirt. I love the turkey drop skit. The best skit, in my opinion, that they ever did, or best scene that they ever did, was a cold open where Les bursts in while Johnny is taking a news break and sits down and says, monster lizard ravages East Coast. This lizard, the worst since 1976. And Johnny shuts him down and grabs the page. Monster lizard, Les. It's monster blizzard. The B is broken on the teletype. So, would I live stream the panels? No. You have to come to the con. You have to be at the con to see the panels. No. It was a cleaning. Robert. Everything's fine. WKRP was arguably one of the best shows ever put on television, just hands down. They rebooted it a couple times. It always left me kind of meh. I got excited about the first reboot, and then I tried to watch it and enjoy it, but I was just like, eh. And they resorted to bringing back Doc Flamingo. Thank you very much. I swear as God is my witness, I thought Doc Flamingo would super chat, and he did. The problem is, Vinny, in syndication, the reason it was so hard to find in syndication was that they had to chop the episodes up and take out a lot of the licensed music. When KRP started getting traction, record labels were literally sending stuff for free to CBS. It was free promotional stuff. This is pre-MTV. Turning on the television and hearing the Eagles, Pink Floyd, the Travers Band, Jimmy Buffett, so much stuff. Hearing that on TV, that was amazing. Because if you watched Rockford Files and they were talking about rock and roll music, it was like some generic session crap that they cooked up just for that. The only justice I ever saw done to pop music in the 1970s on television, Johnny Cash was in an episode of Columbo. He wasn't playing Johnny Cash, but he plays some Johnny Cash music in it. His character was called something else, and he played some of his hits, and that was pretty good. But the episodes of KRP that are in syndication have the music cut out. Now, they came back later because the record labels were like, now you're trying to make money. You're trying to make syndication and advertising dollars. We don't give you permission to sell our music and then make profits for yourself. So record labels started pulling stuff back. When they finally got around to releasing a DVD box of it, they got some of the record labels to let them put the songs back, but not all. There have been fan projects to go back and either resurrect, like, hey, I taped this on beta back in 81, or to literally just take the DVD and put in and dub in the music themselves. But you got to sail the high seas to get those. Yes, Yang, thank you. Dukes of Hazzard had some musical guests too. But then, of course, 2-3 years later, here's Miami Vice. And NBC, they had that stuff on lockdown. So you watch Miami Vice on Hulu or Amazon or wherever. There was this Phil Collins song here, and let's face it, it was Miami Vice. There was always a Phil Collins song. There's a Phil Collins song still on the streaming version. Public Image Limited's The Order of Death, that's in there. Unalive Yourself Tendencies, their song Institutionalized, that's still in the streams. I remember that, BGD. And yes, all of you out there championing Jan Smithers over Lonnie Anderson, yes, that is absolutely 100% correct. I saw that, Yang. I saw the Kung Fury trailer. One of the best uses of music of music of the time in a TV show There is an episode of Magnum PI, and I believe it has a young Sharon Stone in it. She plays a person with MPD. And there's a scene in the beginning of the episode where she is driving late at night, having an argument with what is presented to us as her sister. But she's imagining that there's someone else in the car with her. She's really having the argument with herself. The music that is playing is the Blade Runner outro titles music. And it is a really well done scene, and I love tuning into that and seeing or hearing the Blade Runner music. Anyway, so that's the GUOGC, guys. That's how you do it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. The email address is going across right over there now. bsylvia@gmail.com. PM me on the chat on the GUOGC Discord. Reach out to me on my Discord. Reach out to me on social media. I'm going to hammer on this until next Wednesday. And I'm going to make myself as available as I can for you guys. Beastie Boys known to let the beat drop. So anyway, yeah, just reach out to me, guys, and I'll get you set up as a game master if you need to. All you have to do if you want to be a player is go to the Discord. Just go to the Discord. I will link you guys to the Discord. It's that simple. Labyrinth Lady, Wheeling Dragon. God, that's embarrassing. Wheeling Dragon, I saw your PM. I am tied up, unfortunately. I tried. I'm sorry. It's not to say I won't do it, just it won't be ready for the con this year, and I apologize. So, that's really that's not all I have to say about the convention. I'm going to hammer on it tomorrow night before we get it and after we get into Temple of Elemental Evil. Speaking of tomorrow night, why haven't you guys asked me questions to ask Paul for the Ask a Sage segment? Paul Storber is going to do like a little segment with us, little Ask a Sage segment. So it's very easy, Wheeling Dragon, sharing your screen. There's plenty of tutorials on sharing your screen in Discord with your with your friends. One single Ask the Sage question, Vinny. Don't drown me, dude. So I got to get this off my chest. This is and it's not a bad thing. It's not like drama. I have fought so hard to get the software. You know what I'm talking about. The character generator software. I have been wrestling with that. And last night I was just about ready to give up. Yesterday afternoon I was literally like, it's not going to happen. I cannot fuck this situation. I can't fix it. So let me take you guys down the forest path of coding real quick. And I've gotten like $30 in super, so I can say a dirty word in the middle of my stream. I may orbital air. I just may. In first edition AD&D, you know what? I'm going to share this with you guys. I'm going to open up the player's handbook and show you what I have been struggling with. Recent player's handbook. Now, we're going to take it for granted that what's in the player's handbook is right, because this is the retypeset player's handbook from Wizards of the Coast. And one thing that I have found, because hey, it's an OCR perfectly typeset player's handbook. I can just cut and paste stuff out of here into my rules and my dictionary files. And why does it say that the spell is that duration? 7 to 7 rounds? What? Go get a physical copy, 2 to 7 rounds. So much stuff. I had to spend like 3 days of working on the code was sanitizing data. Not 72 nonstop hours. You guys get what I'm saying. All right. But let me show you what happened. Or let me, Swear Jar Super Chat has fucking been activated. So let me show you guys. Share screen, window, bop, bop. Most of you guys are familiar with this because we all wanted to have an 18 whatever in strength. Now, here are our ability scores, 3 to 18 by double aught. We are cool. We are ice cold to this point, to 18. When stats are generated and put on the screen in the worksheet view, which is critical to this, all right? I didn't want this just to be push a button and generate a character that you never see until you open it in your web browser or open the text file, and then you can't change anything unless you want to alter the HTML in the text file or edit the text or the web version or edit the text yourself. I wanted the ability to have fully reentrant editing capabilities, and I got that for every normal characteristic. For every normal characteristic. A 9 in intelligence is always a 9 in intelligence. When you go into the worksheet mode, even if you don't see it, it is constantly redrawing the worksheet mode. To display everything on the screen, it is always rerunning a set of rules. I have set up a set of helper extensions called get ability name modifiers, get strength modifiers, get intelligence modifiers, get wisdom modifiers, get constitution dexterity modifiers, get constitution modifiers, get charisma modifiers. Those modifiers are set up in dictionary files. It pulls in the string, it looks at the value, it plugs in what happens if you have a 9 intelligence, how many bonus languages you have, what happens if you've got a wisdom of 17. That will reflect down on your spells if you're a cleric. So all of that moving like Victorian gears, even if the worksheet screen where you guys have seen I've gone in and added money and leveled up and removed levels, even if all of those never vary, they're always clamped. When I put this thing together, get strength abilities or get strength modifiers, or whatever I called it, has not just this table right here. It's got this. So if you're fighter, ranger, paladin, or some multi-class variant of fighter, fighter thief, fighter magic user thief, fighter magic user, fighter assassin, fighter illusionist, if you had an 18 strength, it would say, because I put it in there and I wasn't thinking about this, it would say, okay, I'm redrawing the screen. I'm getting intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma, and strength. You're a fighter. You have an 18 strength. You're some variety of fighter. You have an 18 strength. Inside, can't believe I did this, inside get strength modifiers is the D100 die roller. Every time you touched the characteristics and asked the program to redraw, it would fire it. I didn't realize it would do that because it clamped for everything else. Add coins, level up, drain a level, add experience points. It stayed clamped. If I touched the stats, it fired again. You could go from an 1875 to an 1823, from an 1804 to an 1897. Fighter, gong, farmer, scrap collector. Absolutely my favorite multi-class, JP. Every time it touched the stats, it would fire the percentile and I'd get a new one. I got one when the character was first generated. And then to redraw the screen and put everything up, I got another one. And if I touched the characteristics, I got another one. And if I touch them again, I get another one. It would never clamp them because it couldn't, because it didn't understand, because that routine was built into every single time you touched it. It would fire. It wouldn't stay clamped. Programming talk got you a little sleepy, Wheeling. Have a lovely evening, dear. And today, while I was sitting at the library, it occurred to me. And I didn't have my code in front of me, but I remembered enough of it. Every time I pull those defs to help me redraw the screen, I'm touching the D100 die roller. I'm touching that D100 die roller and it's going, hey, we need a new value. Bang. I was there for a different reason, Gonzalo. But I'll tell you this, when I was trying to think about this and I was typing on my phone, like making notes on my phone, I was just like, It was as noisy as a mall concourse. When I was a kid, I used to go to a library and it was quiet. It was quiet. Anyway, I'm not going to go off on that tangent. So every time, if you had a fighter with an 18 strength, you touch the stats. I'm circling it with my fingertip again. It would say, okay, we're drawing strength. The other stats are pulling their data in also, but their data is fixed. Their data, it doesn't matter. A 17 wisdom always does the same thing. There's no variable for it to kick off. If you had percent wisdom, it'd be doing the same thing. So what I figured out was I put myself in basic mode. That's not basic, bitch. I put myself in basic coding mode. And I said, wait a minute. And I wrote a piece of basic and I ran it on a simulator on my phone, sitting in the library. And then I expanded my code so that I just had a simple number generator and then some functions that would go on it. Divide it in half, do a for next loop where it gets iterated plus 1. And ran it on a simulator and it worked. I expanded the code out so that the loop would include the x equals int rnd 1 times 6 plus 1 formula. And every time it fired, it generated a new, it never held on to the value because I was telling it to go back. What I have to do, what I am going to do, what I'm going to tear out of this program on my vacation week is I have to go in and I have to gut the strength stat system. At least I have to excise all those calls. One time at the top of my code, I am going to define a variable xstr to be used if the character is some flavor of fighter and they have a strength of 18. Otherwise, don't worry about it. It's going to fire one time. It is never going to be called on again unless there's a couple of conditionals, and I'm going to have to work on these. If you have a young fighter who goes from young to adult, they'll gain a point of strength. So if they have a 17, it'll go to 18. I'll need it to fire then, but then clamp. It was a eureka moment. I wanted to stand up in the library and yell at the top of my lungs. But unlike the parents of the kids running around and screaming and yelling, I was not going to be rude. So it's basically run that generator one time, have that number on hand. If it's a fighter with an 18 strength, they get that. And it gets stuck out on the end of the character 18 whack, percentage. And that's it. It's just going to be a lot of fun ripping out the fighter stuff and putting that stuff and putting that back in. Yeah, that's about it. It's exorcism. You laugh, Gonzalo, but that is basically a maybe loop is an if then else. And that is what Gonzalo, that is absolutely 110,000% true. And that is what finally dawned on me today. Every time the screen redraw touched those functions for all of the stats, it was saying, okay, strength, let's do that again. No matter how much I begged or pleaded the program to clamp the initial die roll, it wouldn't. It would just get stomped on. It's like, okay, I'll keep that. Rerun it, because the keep logic is right below the random 100 generator. Don't worry, boss, I'm going to keep this. Runs again. Don't worry, I'm going to keep this. Woohoo! That's awesome. Ultra American TTRPGer. Excellent. I will send you information about how you can pay the fee to do that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's a joke. So the program wasn't wrong. It was doing exactly what I told it to do. Stupid program, do what I mean, not what I say. So I am really, really happy that I figured that out. Because again, I was on the verge of abandoning it. I was just like, I have asked ChatGPT for help. I have used online code samples. I've created a mess that I will never be able to fix. You know, like I can take my dictionaries and my libraries and chop them out and paste them in a document, but all this code got to go. But not so. But not so. So it should only take you 5 minutes to fix. You all I've seen a green text. I don't know how true this is or isn't. Thank you, Gonzalo. And I went back to basic to do it. I asked ChatGPT, I'm like, hey, does this program do what I think it does? I wrote the slot basic program, and it was like, yeah. I was like, cool. If I do this, will that work? Yeah. You sure? Pretty sure. But yeah, no, it just took going back to basic to fix it. So it was a big deal that I got that sorted out. I made extensive notes for myself. But yeah, I was just about ready to pack it in. Yeah, garbage in, garbage out. I mean, you know, I told it what I told it what I thought I wanted, and it told me back what it thought I was asking for. My back was against the wall, Corey. I was just like, yeah, orbital air. I know I know it's not basic, but the point is, if I need to know how to do something and I can then convert it, like, okay, how do I do a for next loop in Python? Let's Google that. How do I nest something in a for next loop in Python to get it to iterate? Do it like this. How do I generate a random number that will add to the iterative like this? That's where I was. I loved typing the magazine programs in, especially when they were in basic and you could customize them and give them to your friends. Like, oh yeah, here's this such and such adventure. Cool. And I could alter. That is how I learned to program 2-word parser text adventures on my Commodore 64. I did something like that too. I password protected the TRS DOS discs so that if you didn't have the password, it was stupid easy to bypass, because if you had a TRS-80 with 2 floppies, you could boot off of your disk and then navigate over to that disk and delete the basic program, or delete the DOS script. But yeah, I password protected my friends' disks. I did not put a password backdoor in it either. But one young lady, she like, her disk got protected and she didn't remember. So, and my programming teacher, or computer science teacher, Mrs. Hopkins, she came over and she was like, "Can you help, Bill?" I was like, "Help with what?" "Well, this." And I said, "How do you know I have anything to do with that?" And she's like, "Okay, all right." So, oh, that's nasty, Gonzalo. I like that. But anyway, so I have gone from, I don't know, some year, maybe never, with the character generator to, yeah, okay, I just got to refactor the code. So I'm pretty happy about that. Now I will open up the floor. If anyone has any D&D related questions, and we actually have one, and this came from Thomas Smith. Was it only wargaming before D&D was invented? Okay. This is a good question. It is a loaded question. D&D was very much it was a paradigm shift. Now, the box says rules for fantastic medieval war games. And a lot of people, particularly the guys who call themselves the Bro SR, are under the impression that D&D is just advanced chainmail, and it's not. D&D is very much Dungeons and Dragons. Was it aimed at the wargaming circuit? Absolutely. Let me tell you guys a little story. Do you see this game up here? This is called Space Hulk. It is a board game. It is a tactical board game. On the edge of that box, and I'm not going to pull it down because I'd have to take down like 40 miniatures. On the edge of that box, it says tactical role play. Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader, aka first edition Warhammer 40K, refers to itself throughout the text and many times, and it has character generation, guys, in it. It doesn't have like just army building. It has character generation in it. It refers, oh, ultra American. It refers to itself as a role-playing game. Dark Future, which was basically Games Workshop's Car Wars, refers to itself as a role-playing game. Blood Royale refers to itself as a role-playing game. None of the games I just mentioned are role-playing games. Games Workshop was targeting an audience to pull them in. People were used by and large to role-playing games with role-playing elements. I haven't seen Ms. Bella Games in a while, and I miss her. Hello, Robert Santon. I see her more over on X than I have on the live stream. Maybe I ran her off. I don't know. They were aiming at a specific audience that maybe wasn't that keen on playing a big RPG or a big war game or a tactical war game or a Car Wars like game. They knew what the audience they wanted to get was. Look at the trends in first-person shooters. The shoot and loot game was really popular. You know what I'm talking about. Find a gun, upgrade a gun more, upgrade your armor, upgrade your skills by grabbing stuff. I have the Terminator Resistance game, which is not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not terrible. And it is a shooting, looting, crafting game. I mean, in my opinion, the game that absolutely should not be a shoot, loot, craft game, actually it's a stealth, loot, craft game, is the Alien game that was real popular that came out. It's like, oh, I'm going to make an upgraded noisemaker. Now I can upgrade my noisemaker again. I'll make an improved health kit. That Alien Isolation, that was it. We'll go till my voice starts to give out, which may not be that much further, JP. I'm going to get around to Braunstein in a minute. They put those things were popular, so they dovetailed into the genre. How popular were World War II shooters? How many studios came out with World War II games? When Doom came out, all you had to be successful was a Doom-like game. You didn't have to worry about stealth elements. You didn't have to worry about inventory other than, weapon switching. No, as far as I know, Ultra American, she has not reached out to me saying she wants to come and run a game. She's welcome to. She's absolutely welcome to. Harmony and I are friends. We know each other in real life. She's absolutely welcome to. The broadsword. The barbarian. Anyway, they were aiming at an audience. They couldn't just put on here role-playing game. What the hell is a role-playing game? That's something a shrink does, or the guys at the Pentagon do when they're studying game theory. A role-playing. What the hell is a role-playing game? Putting role-playing game on that box would have appealed to nobody, even their target audience. You got to remember something. When they made 2,000 wood grain OD&D sets, when they made those, Gary told me, we thought that's all we needed ever. 2,000 sets. We'll have 2,000 people who buy it, and we'll support them. They got more inquiries back about the rules than they sold sets. They had people bring mimeographed copies to show them and say, now look here, you say this. This game just exploded. And other companies followed it. They used the nomenclature role-playing game as the game evolved. And other companies said, just like I've just explained with those, other companies started calling theirs role-playing games because they were after the D&D crowd, and the D&D crowd was now calling their game a role-playing game, not a war game. Traveler doesn't call itself a war game. Tunnels and Trolls doesn't call itself a war game. Hell, Metamorphosis Alpha doesn't call itself a war game. They all became role-playing games, and they called themselves role-playing games to pull people in. If you have an original D&D set, I don't game with this. I don't want anything bad to happen to it. I have my autographed buy Gygax and Arneson OD&D books and supplements and all the original creators' autographs on them. I don't want anybody, I don't want those to potentially get damaged or destroyed. I have the 2014 wooden OD&D set that WotC put out, but for my use, I have this. It's all 3 books. I had it printed up on Lulu. One little booklet if I need it. And yes, I have a supplements book too. So let's get back to Thomas's question though. You're basically asking what happened before the Planck epoch when you're talking about role-playing games. That's exactly JP Got Rockets. They're using role-playing game as a marketing term. They were using war game as a marketing term because their audience, there were no role-playing gamers. Nobody played a role-playing game. Nobody could have told you what a role-playing game was. Again, outside of a psychologist's office or game theory being studied in the Pentagon. Nobody could have told you what a role-playing game was. Lots of people knew what a miniatures war game was, though. Fighter and Swords and Wizardry Complete Revised is totally worth playing. Cool. Very cool. So, Thomas Smith. It was wargaming. Again, you're talking about the Planck epoch. Now, I'm going to say something that might ruffle some feathers, that might upset people, but I have had my head put on correctly about a great many things. David Wesley and Dave Arneson were playing what we would now recognize as role-playing games in the late 60s and early 70s. When Chainmail came along, Arneson really ramped up his game. He really ramped up his game because now we've got alignment and we've got spells, and he just took his pretend you're a captain of many men, not just all of the men, and invade a castle by yourself or with a small troop behind you. And that gave him fuel to come up with the idea. Gary saw what Dave was doing. Gary got invited to play, and he and Rob Kuntz were absolutely blown away. Oh, I'll fix that. I'll fix that, Bob. Yeah, I think I did put Alyssa's in like live on the show. I'll go do that now. But no, there were role-playing games before D&D was invented. Now, I'm going to say something. If that pisses off people who are super fans of Gary and Gary invented D&D, what I'm going to say now will piss off fans of Dave Arneson and Dave Wesley. Gary Gygax created Dungeons and Dragons. Dave Arneson had a lot of influence on how Gary shaped the game from a high altitude view. But Arneson testified in court that he didn't write a thing in Dungeons and Dragons. So there were at least 2 role-playing games let's see, event info. Yeah, wow, look at that. We got that on Thursday. There we go. Being played before that. Did they call them role playing games? Probably not. There, fixed. Thank you for catching that for me. So I hope that answers your question, Thomas. Dave Wesley and Dave Arneson were absolutely playing role-playing games prior to D&D in the Plank epoch. It's cold in this basement. I do not tolerate. I do not sit with. I will not lend credence to. I will not entertain the discussion that Dave Arneson invented D&D and Gary stole it from him, because that didn't happen. Dave Arneson did not invent Dungeons and Dragons. He didn't even invent role-playing games. If we count Dave Wesley. That's that I think you're still missing the point, Vinny. Gary created Dungeons and Dragons. Dave Arneson influenced it. Oh, and there was something about the Space Hulk game too. I need to double check. Someone was saying something about Space Hulk. Let's see. An event. I'm going to have to go back and look at when I said that I wanted to do that. That's just my 2 cents, though. A D&D dungeon in space? Question mark. I think that's correct, Bob. I think you're absolutely right. A D&D dungeon in space. It's interesting you bring that up, because a dungeon, when in doubt, I tell new game masters this: when in doubt, run a dungeon crawl. It's very simple. There's a tunnel over here, there's an exit over there, put some rooms in it. You're in space, it's a derelict space station, it's a hollowed out asteroid, it's a spaceship going somewhere and something's happening on it, and there's places in there you can go. You're in a city, it's inside a building, it's down in the sewers. You're out in the country, there's caves on the edge of the little town. Call of Cthulhu, it's a cultist or deep ones or Migo infested cave area. What are my feelings about Arduin? Arduin is just weird, man. I don't dislike it. There is a vibe to Arduin that is unmistakable. Let me tell you something. I've had a LASIK and I have to wear old man glasses. And my Arduin books, they're an arduous book to read. Even in bright light, that's how I have to hold them to read them. There are there are good scans of these books out here and later printed editions that are better as far as the typeface. But yeah, one day I'm going to have to get those and really, really roll up my sleeves and get into them and see just how good they are. Now, I had, and this is on the same level of weirdness. I had the EPT TechML, the original TechML set. And that thing, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this and I'm going to use this in my OD&D games. I'll mine this for OD&D ideas. No, you're either playing TechML or you're playing OD&D. You're not. Maybe I'm unimaginative. Maybe I just don't have the brain for it. But man, was that a weird trip. Yes, that is very true, Michael Dale. Space Hulk as a dungeon crawl in space. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not an RPG. Take care, Ultra American. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Yes, that's right, Atomic FX. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to fix that. I saw your message, but someone, what was it? It's more organic than that. It's perfect storm where enthusiasts influence each other. Gygax Artisan had his thing. Gygax had his thing. Here's the thing. This is my opinion. I don't think Dave Artisan was on the verge of ever promoting and getting his thing out. I think it just would have been his gaming circle. It might have filtered out a little bit in the region, and then maybe as a historical artifact out on the internet. But I'm not being cruel. I'm not saying Dave Arneson wasn't a brilliant individual. I met him a few times. I don't think that because we don't have a Dave Arneson role-playing game. I just don't believe that. I do not believe that. No, Dave Arneson passed away a number of years ago. I was fortunate in that Dave Arneson lived proximate to me, and I did get his autographs on relevant OD&D books. And of course, I got Gary's autograph on a great many things. I did not get to game with Dave. I did get to game with Gary, but not with Dave. Yeah, right in the same time frame, Bob. So right, and I'm not saying that Dave didn't release stuff. I just don't think he would have pushed the idea had there been no D&D. I think he very much viewed it as just stuff me and my group do. I mean, let's roll it back. Let's go back to Dave Wesley. We have a 5 or 6 year gap between what Wesley was doing and the release of OD&D. 5 or 6 years. Gary got D&D together in a year and a half. So yeah, Rob was really active over on Twitter for a good while. I have mentioned this before, and I'm going to say it again. One of the most idiotic displays of kamikaze attacks on someone was the the bro SR going after Rob, saying, no, that's not how it was. And he was like, I'm one of the two people who was in the room when Gary created OD&D after we played Dave's fantasy game. And Gary was the other one of the two. And it was the same with AD&D. They don't understand. Rob has an eidetic memory. Rob has said to me in conversations, things that I said to him when I met him face to face the first time at Milwaukee Game Fest 21 years ago. Oh, yeah, Bill, I remember that. And I was like, yeah, I was sitting over here. No, you were sitting over here next to this person. I remember because you were kind of leaning to one side because you still had your suitcase because you had just flown in from Florida. You'd gotten in Milwaukee and you'd been carrying that heavy suitcase around the convention with you till the trolls let you put it back behind their booth. And so you were a little sore and kind of limping from, and I'm like, essentially, if Rob's saying it, it's probably true. But unfortunately, he's been very quiet, very low key on Twitter since then, which sucks because he is a font of knowledge. But anyway, Christopher Sims, how you doing? TSA trolls? No. I will tell you guys a funny story. How many of you guys have seen those ultra hyper realistic sculptures of like security guards, somebody sleeping on a bench in an airport, stuff like that? Have you seen those? Like they're just incredibly lifelike. There is one of those sculptures in the lobby of the I don't know, I can't remember the name, the Civic Center in downtown Milwaukee. No, Thomas, I was talking about I was talking about things that Rob had said to me. He's got an eidetic memory. He remembers like meeting me and what I was wearing and like how I was walking and what I was saying and where I sat and things like that. He's just that sharp. So I'm at Milwaukee Game Fest, have a fine afternoon of gaming. I just want to go get a bite to eat and take my luggage to my hotel. Thank you, JP Got Rockets. I believe it was the MCAA, still MCCA, back in 2004. I'm just exhausted. I'm a little bit jet lagged. So I'm like, shit, how do I get to my hotel? I knew it was very proximate to the MCCA. Like, wait, if I leave out those doors, am I gonna be stuck on the wrong side of the block and like I can't get around, or So I look over and I'm like, security guard, excellent, thank you. So I start schlepping over there and I start talking. Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me how? I get within like 3 feet of this, and it's one of those lifelike sculptures of a security guard. I had like a full 6 or 8 seconds of conversation with this sculpture. Good times. Fortunately, nobody saw it. I just told you guys that now. So, just faced myself. But, and then we all got murdered the next day because the guy who was the leader of the party did incredibly stupid tactical things. I've talked to Rob about it, and Rob was co-DMing with Gary. I've got my character sheet signed by Rob and Gary as having been TPK'd. And yeah, when I talked to Rob about it, I'm like, yeah, Casey was having, and he was like, yeah, no, that was completely the wrong setup for you guys. And it should have, and I was just like, I know, but I was in the back. I was the magic user. What was I supposed to do? So it was a couple of TPKs actually I experienced that weekend. When you're a game developer, every gaming store seems like a convention. I don't disagree with you there, Joseph. Hang on a moment. Sorry. Just trying to get my headphones up there. But anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? Ask me anything. I got 15 minutes and then I'm out. Any questions at all? I will do my best to answer them. Tomorrow night, hopefully you guys have got a question for me between now and then. Otherwise, I'll have to come up with one on my own, and we'll do the from the Sorcerer's Scroll, where Paul Stormberg will pop in with a little video snippet and answer a trivia question for us. You guys don't want to miss that. So do tune in tomorrow night. I don't know that Paul's going to be a guest, but we're going to have a segment where Paul will answer a question for us. Do I remember Maniac Mansion? I remember it. I didn't play it. Gary used miniatures a lot, particularly when he was at home, because he had those Elastilin and Airfix figures that he had modded to make dragons and trolls and ogres and orcs and all sorts of stuff out of on the sand table. Make an online college course intro to D&D. If somebody had the scratch and they wanted me to do it, I'd do it. But yes, I remember Maniac Mansion. I remember being advertised. I did not play it, which is not to say I didn't want to play it. Vinny, it was an Apple II, Commodore 64, Atari 800, and I know it was on the PC Junior. I don't remember if it was on the IBM PC also. And then it was ported up over the years. And a lot of popular 8-bit micro games got ported to the NES. I was kind of shocked to see F-15 Strike Eagle was ported to the NES. You could, I can't. It was not an incredibly intensive flight simulator by today's standards. It wasn't even an incredibly intensive flight simulator by like the standards of the later 80s. Like if you put it up against Jet Pilot by Sublogic, who, by the way, there are tiny grains, subatomic particles of Sublogic's DNA in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Microsoft wanted a popular game, and flight simulators were getting popular, so they just bought Sublogic. And after Sublogic released Flight Simulator and all that, yeah, it had its controls, right? I mean, up, down, left, right. I think there were rudder controls. I could be wrong. But then, you had a master arm, you had, I think, flaps, gun mode versus missiles. And then was it Sparrow or Sidewinder? And then you had CCIP bombing mode. So I just can't imagine doing that with up, down, left, right, A, B. You needed a keyboard for a game like that. What is this D20 crap in my con? Who is this? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Come and play and have fun. I mean, hell, D20 is effectively old school now. Goodness. Still waiting on any questions for you guys. Did Gary ever print a copy? Print as in sell? No. Castle Greyhawk. I know about Castle Greyhawk, and that's all I'm going to say about it. And it's third-hand information. No, I do not own a copy. No, I have never seen a copy except what you guys have seen, which is people snapping surreptitious photos of it over his shoulder when it's been lying on a table, so on and etc. Anyone in our community who tells you that, oh yeah, I've seen it. I do not deny that many people got to play Gary's Castle Greyhawk. They don't have copies. Their uncle doesn't work for Nintendo. Their dad doesn't know a guy who actually knows what happened to JFK. And they don't have a copy of Castle Greyhawk. Yeah, B-17 was a very well considered game. That's another one that was on many platforms. That was a 16/32-bit game, though. I'm pretty sure it came out for the Amiga and the Mac, but I know it was on the PC. If a spellcaster dies before a sleep spell is cast on the initiative, should it be allowed to work? No. When a spellcaster dies, that's the end of the spells, unless they're like a permanent effect, right? Like your cleric casts Cure Light Wounds. Well, when he dies, your Cure Light Wound spell doesn't suddenly just go away. Those aren't Gary's Mordenkainen stats in Die Vecna Die. Gary's Mordenkainen stats are only in Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure, and they're converted for D20 in Moor Castle, which came in Dungeon 112, I think. Those are Gary's Mordenkainen stats. But yeah, if a spellcaster dies and he's like, I'm casting Delayed Blast Fireball, it fizzles. His continual light winks out, silence goes away, prayer stops. So yeah, Bob, that's exactly it. You've only seen what players have mapped out when they played it with Gary DMing, which is, I can almost 100% guarantee that's all anyone will ever see. There will never be a public release of Castle Greyhawk. I don't think. That's my considered opinion. Again, opinion. So see, Bob, Gary told me was, or what Gary told me was that the Mordenkainen stats in Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure were close to his. He was vehement, though, that they are not in Rogues Gallery. Brian Bloom wrote Rogues Gallery, and Carrie was adamant. Brian didn't have my character sheet for Mordenkainen. He only knew him by reputation. So that is completely made up. So I have heard that Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure Mordenkainen started to sound like a That Mitchell and Webb look skit. Vectrons will be praised. Mordenkainen's will be praised. That those are essentially it. But I could be wrong. Oh my gosh. I'm just about clapped out. If you guys have any more questions, get them in now. Unfortunately, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to see if I can scroll through. And do that. I'm just going through because I got to tag some stuff. And that. And let's tag that. Come on. And that. Okay. That's all I got. Again, Bob, I mean, and Gary may have been yanking our chains. I'm free to go. Just don't leave. JP, I am so broke. There is no concern that I'm going to leave town anytime soon. You need not fear that I'm going anywhere. Hail Vectron. By the gentle claw of Vectron, we will succeed in our endeavors. If Vectron wills it. Yeah, it may have been more a case of those are closer to than what Brian Bloom came up with. We're going to have to do a deep dive of Mordenkainen's Fantastic Adventure. I can honestly not remember if we have. I'll have to dig through and see if we've done that. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up there. Yes, I'm heading to Australia in September. I got to get my dang passport taken care of. All right, guys. Thank you all for hanging out tonight. Big super thanks to Gonzalo Lira, Rob Turner, and Doc Flamingo for the supers. I love you guys to pieces for that. Reach out to me if you have questions about the guac. Please do. I am accessible, bsylvia@gmail.com. You can find me. You can find me hanging out on Discord all the time. You can find me over on X, and I am over on Facebook. But until then, guys, I honestly don't know if the guy ever fought an owl bear, but I think it's a coin toss as to who would win, Mordenkainen or the owl bear. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show. I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.